I'd like to call to order the Beaver County Board of Commissioners work session for Wednesday, August 5th, 2020. Review of work session discussion meeting minutes. I had no questions. Department report.
First and foremost, just again, as far as the tree we discussed last week, I had a call to the tree commission. I haven't received a call back, so I sent it to Gary. Gary pulled his way around, and hopefully we'll get some resolve there. Unfortunately, I spoke with Candy Frank, and she reached out to Penn officials already. We don't have to find it.
$750,000.
Another direction.
Look at Corey's direction.
Another thing that I discussed with you last week, an update, was the underground storage tank. Another quite significantly lower than the first one, about $3,000 lower. But we're still waiting on the third. That's something else that we discussed with you, Corey. And then last but not least, I don't know if I can do this, but I would like to request executive session for legal.
Will we need to reconvene? Any decisions or Karen? It's okay, right?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Any questions for Dan? All right.
Well, again, you aren't involved with the food bank delivery. Are you guys engaged in that process at all, or is that just Tim? It's going to take place at the ice arena, right? Saturday.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if you guys had any issues or role in.
We have not yet. Tim had reached out to me and asked me about the port norms, and I told him, well, is this something that the county would be funding? And so I told myself, I think it's best if we just keep them in contact with the company that we use. They can get what they can get that way. There's no middleman, and just pay for what they can.
Yeah, just,
That was about the gist of it.
Any other questions for Dan? No? Any other department head or elected officials? All right. Move to solicitors.
executive session for personnel matters.
Okay. Any questions for the solicitors? Solicitor? All right, hearing none. Board of Commissioners. The only thing I have is the county yesterday met with Z&A, who is in a public accounting firm, Corey Troutman, the board, the law department, and we are rolling out our plan to release the first phase of the CARES Act funding. The county received $14.8 million. The first phase of the funding will be municipalities and non-governmental grants. The non-governmental grants include small businesses, nonprofits that are 501c3 and 501c19. And also the first phase will be looking at internal costs here at the courthouse. The tentative time line will be non-governmental and nonprofit, small business nonprofits will be Monday, August 10th through August 24th will be the application period. We'll be rolling that out online. You'll be able to submit that online. And the governmental for municipalities will be August 17th through August 31st. And that will be on the front page of our website. Tony Caltori will be working with Kevin Tussick this afternoon to start putting that on. Corey, is there anything you'd like to say about the CARES Act?
Just that we're in the process of trying to gather all the expenses. There's really three pieces. The small business applications. The 31st. Those are the first pieces. Part of this process is just gathering information. We don't know what the subscription rate is going to be or what the request is. So, that's the first thing.
Yeah, the one thing that I would just add is it has to be COVID-related expenses. So for businesses, for municipalities, for nonprofits, what this application is going to be would be reimbursements or expenses related to COVID matters. and the money has to be spent. The projects have to be done by the end of the year. So it has to be, it cannot be something that they're looking to do in 2021. It has to be money that is utilized for a project or an expense that has occurred or will occur in 2020.
Yeah, they cut off for that is December 30th.
Attorney Lozier?
I think you answered my question. The additional reimbursements, do they include expenses related to illness issues?
No, it can only be for COVID matters.
Yeah, the federal government put a lot of restrictions and constraints on this, and it's more of a reimbursement system than really a grant. It's more, what have you spent as a result, direct result of COVID? And so that's everything from PPE to plexiglass to reconfiguring businesses and that kind of stuff. It's all a direct result of what's happening. And put some pressure on us to get this out, turn it around. We're giving 2 weeks for small business and nonprofits, especially, and then 2 weeks for the municipalities. We've been doing a pretty good job funding folks collecting the internal county costs and reimbursements. But that's a lot to get done between now and the 30th of December. So
The application period for municipalities would be
August 17th through August 31st. So with this, I guess, I'm sure there'll be an article or some news about it here. They could start looking into their expenses. So whenever the application does become available for them, they'll be able to readily turn it in.
And there are some differences between small business or non-governmental and governmental. There's different requirements, but we make available training to municipalities specifically. They follow the same rules as the county does on what's reimbursable for costs. So that will be available as well.
I think the intention after yesterday was to set up a conference call with all of the municipalities who want to participate to sort of give some background information so that they have an understanding of what would be eligible expenses. I think our anticipation is that conference call would probably be sometime end of next week, beginning of the week of that August 16th week.
Dave, for information for the law enforcement, Corey, correct me if I'm wrong, law enforcement wages are reimbursable.
There are certain
Stipulations.
Assumptions under the Treasury's frequent asked questions that allow us certain administrative leeway to assume that certain people within the public facing can be assumed without documentation that might be required for some of the other.
I think most of the law enforcement departments are looking at the amount of time and expense to procure and distribute and utilize PPE.
So I think one of the things what we're going to focus on doing is trying to reach out to the chiefs of police or law enforcement to say, get with your supervisors, commissioners, councilmen to be able to put that in their request, because as a county, we're not going to give it directly, say, hey, this is for your police department. But the councilmen and councilwomen and commissioners and supervisors could say, request us for that. You know, we don't want to intermingle what they're doing with their money, so they'll put that request to us. Yeah. Treasurer?
Just proposal, that on the back end of things internally, that Corey, and I make sure that we, are all on the same page as to the money going out, because there are certain bank stipulations that we have to follow in order to get that money from one account to another to get out. So we, so have that follow up.
You'll get, so checks are going to go out at 10 months,
Yes.
and then will be transferred, so.
Yes.
yeah, and then the process is supposed to be the same for issuing any check anywhere.
And there's only one fund with the CARES Act, correct?
Well, so there's multiple funding streams under different departments, and I know that came up earlier. The money that we're talking about right now is specifically the tax block grant. So as far as Some of those other funding streams will be very specific to the department, so what I'd like to do is leave for that process. Have to be very careful that those expenditures do not get reimbursed by the hospital system. So,
Yes.
and we walked through that yesterday, a little bit with the controller, so.
The donations in, they will all be checked. So
Yeah.
no transfer, nothing should be covered there. Everything, no,
I was referring to the 14.8, not the individual departments, because that 14.8 is that, home savings.
Any other questions? Commissioner Raymond?
No, I mean, obviously spent a lot of time on the care stuff and given the volume of calls and emails from nonprofits and small business owners. They're very aware and just been anxiously waiting for the process of when they can apply for this. A couple of things. One, have we spoken to Doreen about the state paying for the postage for?
I met with her this morning briefly. Did she get with you, Corey?
Yeah.
She's really trying to figure out, is this a one-time thing or is this going to be a mandatory thing moving forward? But with that being said, it's something the county is going to have to pay up front, and then we will get reimbursed for it.
It wasn't positive on that. It sounded like we needed a little more clarity as far as what. Reimbursing it for it.
Okay, because I mean, obviously we saw the press release and that kind of stuff, and I hadn't seen
Yeah.
any other details on that, what impact that will have.
There was certain information she needed to provide to the state. Additional guidance, so we knew how to handle it on our county.
The only other thing, just a COVID update as I continue to track these numbers, which continue to be a higher positive rate of heart tests in Beaver County than pretty much any state, any county in the state. And I'm just reminded, we had 10 deaths in July. That's up from 3. So that now makes 90 Beaver County residents who have passed away from COVID. And David, you'll remember this, in 2016, we had 102 people die of overdose. And I remember at the time, our friend and brilliant medical director for Gateway, Neil Compretis, said, if we had a serial killer that was out in Beaver County that had killed 102 people, we'd be doing everything we could to stop that killer. And I still remember people being very cavalier. Well, my kid's not on drugs, or drugs doesn't affect my family. That's their problem. And it was troublesome to me at the time, as somebody who's been engaged in substance abuse and stuff for many years here, being on the board of drug rehab places and the like. And I'm hearing some of that same cavalierness. Well, 80 of those 90 people were in nursing homes, so they were going to die anyway or something. And it still continues to bother me. I don't know how to get through to some people about this, but when this all started, I thought, boy, given our demographics, if we can stay under 100, we might be okay, so to speak. But I think it's pretty clear now, by the end of this year, we're going to lose a lot more than 100 people to COVID. And I just think a lot of that's preventable. And I implore folks to pay attention to what's going on in the surroundings, social distancing, wearing masks. And I implore those businesses that are not doing all they can to require masks in their store and stuff to do what's right. And let's see if we can prevent us from losing more folks to the serial killer that's out there right now.
After
COVID.
2016, we spent a lot of county resources on who's impacted by the overdose.
Yep.
We spent a lot of money last 3 years on that stigma of
It may take that year to contact that stigma if you've got symptoms.
And as Commissioner Manning, District Attorney Leader said, the COVID-19 deaths isn't the only issue going on right now. The mental health of people in Beaver County and across the country is really disturbing as well. Our teen suicide rate is up in Beaver County right now. Our elderly population is becoming depressed because they can't go to breakfast anymore. They can't meet with their colleagues, their retired colleagues, their friends. I've spoken to doctors who unfortunately have lost patients not related to COVID. It could have extended their life longer, but refuse to go get chemo treatments because they don't want to go to the hospital anymore because of COVID. So that's really what's going to it's going to be hard for Beaver County to rebound on is the mental health. Going into the school year this year, I think we're going to see a lot of issues with students who can't go and be with their friends. And it's going to affect these students in the future too that aren't learning the way they should be if they're staying home. So, it's
such a tightrope to walk. And I agree, the socialization issue.
Yeah.
Elderly and young, it's having very deleterious.
But it's the same as in 2016. One family was affected. Their mental health was probably disrupted as well by the opioid. So we're seeing it over again.
Well, and to your credit, DA, and I know you've been involved in this, we've managed to reduce those quite a bit. The way we've approached that, the way we've approached the sentencing and the other issues, but really attacking the fentanyl issue and stuff. I think we need that kind of response here to at least keep this to a manageable level so we get the economy back, we can get people having consumer confidence go back in the stores, and so we can get the confidence and the numbers down to a level that we can reopen schools and get stuff going.
I know health normal putting together advertisements, commercials to combat the stigma of addiction. Maybe even piggyback on that expertise. Something.
That is one of the allowable
Marketing.
behavioral services.
Marketing itself.
Yeah, services. Yeah, behavioral health services are eligible for this funding that we're talking about. The CARES Act.
Yeah, and so Gerard White and also Leslie Hallis, CYS, we know that there are issues inside the homes that have been quarantined with child abuse and different stuff, and all these numbers. So it's having a dramatic effect across society. But I didn't mean to belabor the point that long, but I just was reflecting back on those numbers of 102 overdose deaths in 2016, looking at the latest numbers that came out and saw we were at the 90 mark on.
Dave, with that being said, what are the numbers this year to date, roughly?
Up from last year, the overdoses have remained fairly steady for the past 3 years. We had a dramatic drop in overdose deaths in 2017. But we're 2019 climbed again, and 2020 so far is climbing again. We're not really sure what the issues are. There doesn't seem to be any new drug out there. Back up to slightly climbing.
Are you, the drug task force, are they, I don't want to say out in full force, but I know there was some hesitation during the heat of COVID whenever, we weren't really utilizing the way we used to be. Are we back to utilizing the drug task force and everything?
The investigations never stopped.
Yeah.
Back about June, we began going back out in the field for the arrest warrants and search warrants. As we started to know more about the enforcement and the COVID-19 issues, we have a great deal of success with the Attorney General's anti-drug task
force, our anti-drug task force, and I all working together. The FBI is in the mix at this point. We've had a lot of arrests, a number of COVID resulting in death cases. We have caught charges in our investigation. So we continue to push.
I think the deaths are also down because of the first responders and folks are more prepared to revive people and better prepared than
Right, we done grant for, Narcan.
Yeah.
We have cases and cases
distributed
of
an awful lot of that.
pass
Yeah.
out. That is an issue. We have not figured out how to pass out Narcan. Community of nonprofits in this COVID world. We have the supply. We're passing out Narcan at a lot of community events. But we have to be able to figure out how to renew that distribution of Narcan.
That's it from me.
All right, any, other business? Hearing none, audience participation. No questions? Garen, will there be a reason to reconvene?
No.
We will move into executive session and not reconvene. Thank you.